over the past few days, all anyone in the video game industry's been able to talk about is Sweet Baby Inc. Gamers absolutely loathe them and are disappointed that in only a few short years they have gained a ton of influence within the industry. But of course, video game journalists have done their very best to defend them, saying that gamers are dumb and simply don't understand what they do for companies, but that's a lie, okay? Game journalists are lying to you. Sweet Baby Inc. does exactly what you think they do. I have a few things to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, follow me on social media, and consider supporting through Patreon or through YouTube memberships. Now, there has been a ton of different articles from different outlets over the past few days trying their best to defend Sweet Baby Inc. Let's start off with this PC Gamer article. A company called Sweet Baby Inc. has become the target of anti-woke gamers because it offers consultancy work, an industry standard service that's been normal for years. And that is true. There have been many different consultation companies that have popped up over the past few years, and a lot of larger companies that have worked with these studios. But the only reason why these studios / consultancy companies exist in the first place is because of Gamergate. And a lot of people that actually work at Sweet Baby Inc. were affiliated with the biggest names in Gamergate: Anita Sarkeesian, Zoe Quinn, Brianna Wu. And these people basically said, though, all of those years ago, you know what, we want to change the industry to be what we deem more socially acceptable or politically correct. So let's start our own studios to try to basically infiltrate the industry even further. And that is exactly what they did. And these journalists are melting down over the fact that so many people now, hundreds of thousands, millions of gamers are now seeing the name Sweet Baby Inc. and sticking away from products, which of course we should be able to do. If we don't want to support a company, that should be okay, but they don't think so, which is absolutely hilarious because Gamergate happened and people wanted to simply talk about journalistic integrity, and they started Gamergate because of ethics in gaming journalism, and these journos now are just highlighting why Gamergate happened in the first place. It says, if you're gently confused, I think they mean generally, great job, you definitely deserve your job, you are super good at it, as to why everyone was upset at Sweet Baby Inc., then you're certainly not alone. As per a Kotaku report on the subject yesterday, a Steam group has picked up traction to the tune of around 70,000 members at the time of writing. It's called Sweet Baby Inc. Detected, as if to warn discerning consumers of invasive DRM or something. Right off the bat, you can tell that PC Gamer has absolutely no clue what they're talking about. Or even if they're trying to be funny, they do not go on to actually clear up what Sweet Baby Inc. Detected is. First of all, there is a group which at the time of the Kotaku article had 75,000 members, so they were not even correct in their number there. But most of the discussion surrounding Sweet Baby Inc. Detected is the Steam list that has over 200,000 members. Okay, so they are lying to their audience. I feel bad for the normies who buy their BS. It says instead of warning against potentially sketchy software, though, these concerned gamers instead perceive a rising tide of ideology that's somehow taking over the industry by force. Yes, over the past few years, we have seen a rapid incline of DEI-driven content and studios deciding to push their way further to focusing on ideology over entertainment or writing or quality in general with their works. They think that if they can make a super diverse and inclusive game, that it will instantly sell, but that is just not the case. We have seen that happen time and time again. While of course, yes, things like diversity and inclusivity are not generally bad things, unfortunately, we have seen the ways in which these companies and the creatives have force those things down consumers' throats and force them into games, and that is what makes people revolt against them. This hack says Sweet Baby isn't ruining games, obviously. A more even baffling strain of criticism around Sweet Baby is that it's ruining games somehow. Most recently, Sweet Baby was hired to help consult on Suicide Squad, which hasn't been doing great by Warner Bros' own admissions. If you're wondering what character design and story elements have to do with an ill-advised live service game, yeah, me too. The problem with Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is that the story was trash and the character writing and all of their dialogue was absolutely abysmal. Yeah, let alone the mediocre gameplay, let alone the awful live service. And what did Sweet Baby Inc. directly work on with Suicide Squad? The script writing, banter, our audio logs, barks, character development. They worked on all of the things that were highly criticized. So yes, a game that has been absolutely obliterated by audiences that many people absolutely loathe because of the things that Sweet Baby touched. Yes, it is fair to blame Sweet Baby Inc. and say that they ruined Suicide Squad. Never mind the other games they worked on and the other games that they helped alter and ultimately help killed. I mean, look at something like Alan Wake 2, a sequel 10 years in the making that so many people were excited for, and what happened? They decided to make Saga Anderson half of the story, and while, don't get me wrong, I'm fine with seeing, women of color in a video game, and that wasn't the issue, they did ultimately decide to race swap her with the help of Sweet Baby Inc. because she was part of a comic spinoff and she was a white woman, and also, her story was just bad. And what did they help with when it came to Alan Wake 2? The story, and the script writing, and banter, and dialogue. So they definitely do not have a good track record going for them, and it is extremely easy to point at them and go, they are the problem with all of these games. Yes, they were hired by a company who was already headed in a bad direction, but Sweet Baby Inc. basically cranks that maybe 5 or 6 to a 10. Then we have this article by Eurogamer. Spider-Man, Alan Wake, ridiculous fishing devs speak up in support of consultancy studio Sweet Baby Inc. Of course they're going to speak up and try to defend Sweet Baby Inc. because they have worked with Sweet Baby Inc. Their games, yes, a lot of the budget went to Sweet Baby Inc. So they're not going to come out and throw Sweet Baby Inc. under the bus, because then they're going to be throwing themselves and their own products under the bus. Spider-Man 2 was highly criticized. People had some issues with, MJ, the visual direction they took her character model in, some of the dialogue they had for her, the overall world with, of course, all of the pride flags within it and all of the just small bits and pieces as you're going through the game of dialogue that make you raise eyebrows going, are you sure that this is what fans want? Is this really what helped sell Spider-Man 1 in the first place? Like all of the, let's just say it gently for YouTube purposes, the dialogue that alludes to Peter potentially going gay, and we have Alan Wake, which I just mentioned, a game that I would consider pretty woke. They try to sum up the situation as gamers claiming the company was forcing studios it worked with to increase diversity within its games. That is the only reason why Sweet Baby Inc. exists as a company. If they did not force diversity into a game, then what would they be doing? That is the reason they exist. But here are some developers saying, some of you don't seem to understand how narrative consulting on games work, but I do, don't worry. Yes, this is about Sweet Baby, and I've worked with them, and their team are some of the finest in the business. Yeah, finest to kill a game, I suppose. Then we have another, as a games industry consultant, right off the bat, I don't care about what your opinion is because you shouldn't have this job in the first place. It should not exist, but you're trying to school us here. Let me tell you, consulting requires 3 things from you. To understand your work is advisory, to understand your position is easily eliminated, to be so damn good at your work that others will continue to pay you to listen to. No, it's that these companies are filled with activist employees who are pushing to their higher-ups the idea of trying to make their project more diversity focused, and that, oh, we need to bring in another team because you could be canceled. This whole project could be canceled by users on social media. And so they basically bully the higher-ups who might not even care. And then, of course, they end up hiring companies like Sweet Baby Inc. that do not need to be brought onto these projects, that are not necessary at all whatsoever. And I do blame the companies that are hiring Sweet Baby Inc. because yes, they shouldn't be hiring Sweet Baby Inc. because there's no reason to shove, this ideology into your work. It only pushes real consumers away. Then we have the Kotaku article, Sweet Baby Inc. doesn't do what some gamers think it does, but Sweet Baby Inc. does exactly what you think they do. I did cover this in a previous video, which will be linked down below, but these journalists are trying their very best to defend Sweet Baby Inc. I mean, all of these sites have been dying for years now. They are on their way out. They are holding on for dear life, and there's nothing that they could do at this point but push themselves further to irrelevancy, and that is exactly what they are doing by trying to defend Sweet Baby Inc. because so many people right now are looking at Sweet Baby Inc. absolutely pointing and laughing at the people defending them, and also the developers and the consultants that are part of their teams that have come out trying to say, ugh, it's just dumb gamers attacking us. Let's just completely ignore them because we are the consumers that you need to bring in order to sell your projects and to continue to have jobs. And all you are doing is pushing us further and further away. Of course, I don't think that these pieces are going to stop anytime soon. I do think that these journos are going to continue to try to defend Sweet Baby Inc. tooth and nail, but only time will tell. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.